Want to know how excited I was to see this movie? About that much.
It's f***ing Logan.
Speaking of comic book movies, Batpool. Because f*** you, that's why. So, I went to see Logan recently, and because I'm an idiot, I didn't bring my ID, so they wouldn't let me in. So, with my pride hurt because I do look fucking 16 even though I'm about to turn 19, I left, came back later with my ID, they let me in, and I ran to find my seat. Now, when I got there the second time, it was so atmospheric. It was a full moon, I rushed in, it was late, the theater was already completely crowded. I finally managed to spot a seat kind of in the middle in a good, just a good location. I made eye contact with the person sitting next to it and he waved me over. So I pushed myself past all the people. I sit down and then I realize that the guy who waved me over and the other guy sitting next to me are some of the two biggest, burliest men with beards I've ever seen. Immersion. Hashtag immersion. Ah, fuck. Okay, let's get into the actual meat of this video. I'm going to be keeping this spoiler-free. If you want spoiler reviews, I'm gonna leave 2 links in the description to videos of YouTubers talking about the movie with full spoilers. From the moment I heard that first Johnny Cash song in the first trailer, I knew what kind of movie they were trying to make. And I thought to myself, if they can actually keep that tone that they were going for in the actual movie, then we're gonna have some gold. And we do. Because this movie feels like it has the heart and soul of a really down-to-earth, gritty Western. Holy shit, this was an intense movie. 5 minutes into the film and you can really tell just how R this movie is going to be, which you can contribute to Deadpool's outstanding success at the box office. Which is great, because now Wolverine, a character with fucking blades coming out of his hands, feels more realistic than he ever has before. The hits in this movie are brutal and deliberate, and the action actually feels lifelike, not all flashy and glorified like it does in most comic book movies we have today. And the film continues this notion of realism to the characters, which is even harder to do. You have Hugh Jackman, who's returning to play this role for the final time. He gives it his all in this movie, which he has in every single movie he's been in as this character. The difference here is that the writing can actually keep up with his acting. There are no Star Wars prequel lines in this movie. You have Patrick Stewart coming back to play a very old Charles Xavier, and well, it's Patrick Stewart, so you know his acting is going to be good. Probably one of the movie's biggest accomplishments is that all the characters, especially Professor X, feel like actual people rather than superheroes. The movie accomplishes this by keeping the story very focused on these characters that we have come to care about, and on their imperfections and their insecurities, and the minor details. The other character that gets the most screen time is this girl who, if you've seen the trailers, you know is very much like Wolverine. She's played by Daphne Keane, who's relatively new to acting. I thought she was incredibly convincing. I've never seen a child so menacing before in my life, but who somehow still manages to show how much of a heart she has. There are a few flaws I think this movie had, but before I get into them, I want to say that I really don't care, because this movie was so good in most of its aspects. The few little things that are wrong with it don't really, make the movie any worse. For me, personally. Number 1, I could very easily tell that the characters were in front of a green screen sometimes, which kind of just took me out of it for a second, took me off guard, but, what can you do? Number 2, the villains in this movie were incredibly generic and cliched, unfortunately. The blonde guy was pretty menacing, but you could tell the writers didn't really give him or any of the villains much thought because they didn't really care, and they wanted to keep the focus on the main characters. Usually I would say this is a bad thing, but it really paved the way for the main characters to be fleshed out. So the movie kind of made up for it, is what I'm trying to say. Another sacrifice this movie made is its blatant lack of lightheartedness. This isn't exactly a movie you're gonna walk away from feeling happy. So it's not the most fun in that regard, because this movie made me cry like a little girl. Not in the good way. I was sad. I understand why they did it. They were trying to keep the movie more realistic and grounded. And it worked. Alright, this concludes my review of Logan. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Rate, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this face, and I will see you all next week. Peace. I've got a little friend of Claus as well. Her name's Leela. She's very unhappy right now. Okay, I'll put you down. Yeah, all right.